Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
packing.
Mouse.
He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still, his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing, while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Well, all right, my friends, here we go. This is the graduate show. And we got about 22 people today. Dojo is constantly evolving. There's some things I'm going to look at. We begin with Roque. I think Roque means rook. He's an amateur. We're going to give him a follow. Just joined the dojo. 293. Maybe he just got it and then fell off. We'll see. He's got a good tactics rating and stuff. So just joined. Probably doesn't have any games. Let's first see if he got clubs. No clubs. He's got a games. Okay. All right. Let's look my games here. Nothing. This is the new thing, by the way. We're going to talk more about this my games in a second. All right. So in the Roque. Welcome to the dojo. Let me just ask the AI here. Roque in Spanish is a rock. A roque is a rock. Well, there we go. I was wrong. But wait a second. Castle in Spanish is a castillo. But, okay, wait. Rook in Spanish is a torre. No, really? Wait. chess in Spanish. El Roque. Oh, I was right, dude. I was right. The rook is called La Torre, but it can also be called El Roque. And I thought of that too because of castling, which is enrocarse. Beautiful. Okay. See, I'm not that bad. I thought I was. I once had a Spanish rating of about 1100. I've since slipped through the years. I'm at about a 700. Yeah. So, doing show now. Want to join? Question mark. My student here who's been blowing me off. Okay, so here we go. Next person. That was El Roque. Next up, we got Tom. I think my student's going to join me. Instead of doing a lesson with me, he's going to join me this way. We're going to give Tom a follow here. Just started playing chess. Had some nice little blip to get over 308. Looks great. Looks great. Okay, we got any clubs, Tom? Fantastic. Games. Do you guys like this, by the way, this new My Games thing? To me, it looks a little funny, the way he's got it set up. Here we got our time graph. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do this over here. Boom, boom, boom. I got to always, whenever I start anew. So here's our time graph. And in general, this was created to yell at people about moving too fast. You can see, however, that our friend Tom here did pretty well with his time. And his opponent is really moving a little too fast. But at this level, you know, honestly, they oftentimes just totally blitz it out, right? Mark this as reviewed. And we're going to go back to this Mr. Game Review. I have a feeling we have to do this too. Let's fix it. Jupa and Jupa. Okay, so here we go. Fine. Weird. Good move. Poor. Blocking his stuff. Now, let me just stress, at this level, they are going to refuse to develop their pieces. Knight c6. Now, your move, bishop c4, is fine. I think bishop b5, threatening knight e5, might even be more deadly. Good move. Good. Ooh, now he's getting a little too frisky. So now, pawn takes pawn is good. Your move gives me the queasies. Now, one thing we should say, Tom, is here, buddy, you need to slow it down. Because here we have a critical position. And by that, I just mean things are happening that we need to talk about. We have knight e5 is a candidate move. Also this one, nota bene. If we take and he takes, we go a little in-between zap. That's called an in-between move. Your development is so strong here that you should be winning. Now, the problem with queen e2 is could dude have played knight d5? I think probably could have. See? Okay, so c6, blunder. a3, poor, because now he can take. So what should you have done? You should have taken this bad boy. All right, at this level, the games are decided by people not developing, true, but mostly by people hanging stuff. So it was a big deal that you hung d5 here. Oh, blunder! 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 He needed to play knight d5. Here, Tom, you could have zapped him with bishop b5. Ow! Got him. Yeah, there we go. Thank you for being here. Novus for the dreary. No vest for the dreary is finally made it here. He doesn't like the new feature. We're going to talk about it actually next time it shows up. And I'll tell you why we did it, even if it's controversial. So obviously a mistake. 18 seconds. Thought about it a little longer, you would have found bishop b5 for sure. Poor move, not developing. Good. Poor move, not developing and hanging a pawn. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now bishop b5 has got to be the end. Also, knight g6 has got to be the end. So here, blunder, knight f7. Now notice, that's a big move. With that move, you're saying I'm winning the game, basically. So you can spend more than 48 seconds there. This person has no desire to develop ever. Check. All right. Unfortunately, that we run into that. Poor move. Look, buddy, you just take it now and the thing is pinned. Oh, no. It should be mate here. Now, b4. Now, let's just show a quick mate here is check, check, mate. b4, again, too fast. You're at a position where we should be mating him here now. Like, did you calculate that out, for example? No. And your opponent doesn't appreciate anything. He doesn't care, dude. He doesn't care. Okay, so I think that's a very typical game of this level, where his opponent moved too fast, didn't develop, was hanging their coconuts all over the place. And white needed a couple key moments to think a little deeper. And this person's path to 1,000 and beyond is going to be paved with dudes like this. Just paved. All right, I'm going to fix my business a little bit here. No, you want to make it. What do you want here, buddy? You want it smaller, bud. And then you want to make it, Look at me, buddy. Okay, there we go. That looks a little bit more natural. All natural. Now, unfortunately, where's this video capture device? This has got to be there. No. There. And now, how come... I don't know what I'm doing. What are you doing, buddy? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta fix this somehow. All right, take it easy, bud. You can do it. All right, well done. Let's move on. That was Tom, graduating also to the 3-400. Now we have Soul Driver. Was away from the game for a few months, but happy to be back and climbing. Brilliant. Look at this guy, graduating all over the place. So, what is the Discord auto notification? Treetop is here. So, 527, beautiful. This is the Soul Driver. And something weird's going on. What are they doing here? Now, the non-dojo, Jack told me that they got rid of it, so I don't know. It's like only if you were there when we originally had the non-dojo would it be possible. But I guess he came back to the dojo and now is exploiting the fact that we have this non-dojo thing. Okay. So, let's just go look at what you're doing. I want to try to explain to people why I don't like it. So, he's been doing some rapid. Now, the way that we want you to do it in the future, okay, let's just get into this for a second, is you would go training program, full training plan, and you would go games and analysis, and let's say you wanted to do some rapid. You would create the task from here. So every task has a natural bucket. But it wouldn't be non-dojo. It would belong to the games and analysis bucket. Okay, so it's only historic people. That's my hope. That's what Jack assured me because I wanted to get rid of that non-dojo stuff. Clubs. Great. This is the Soul Driver. And now we go here. Boom. Here it is. We got one game. And he says best by test, dude. First boss. No time graph. But here he's going to say best by this. Cry your... I don't know why, but sometimes the windows just move around on me. No one knows why they do that. So let's move this a little bit here. Looks a little bit better, I suppose. This is me versus opponent. Here we go. So far, so good. Fine. And my suspicion is this is the most common 7th move position in the history of chess. Yep. A6, poor move, not developing. Now, one cool move that you could do here is to play c3 to prevent them from playing knight d4, but your move makes sense to me. And now h3, which seems reasonable. Okay. I'm just looking at some madness here. Good move. Good. And now queen e2. And you're right. I'm not really sure what the best way to advance the game once we got to this stage. Okay. Now I want to say I'm not 100% either. I do have some crazy ideas for you. I guess they're not going to work though. Okay. A very basic thing you could do would be g4, bishop g6, knight h4. But you're just developing. He's not he's not respecting his own development. Okay, d1. Now, what I do like what you're doing is you don't really know what to do, so you're just saying, well, I might as well develop that. And your opponent isn't sensing the need to develop themselves. For the annotation, I think it'd be good to look at moves like g4, fg, and knight g5. That looks potentially devastating. All right, we're going to play hg, and we're going to maybe play f4 next. We're going to try to mate the guy. Okay, c6, d4, very frisky. Probably okay. Good. Now, critical moment. This would be good if we had the timestamps, because then we would see how much you thought here. Okay. Personally, I think moves like e5 are called for. g4 might still work. This move is no good, though, because it's blocking your beautiful bishop. And black, if nothing else, could play c5. Yeah, this is... Now, he should have thought about knight d5. Good move. Good. And now he blundered his bishop. Bang! And now, why did he resign, dude? Why did he resign? Okay, so what I want to say about this game and the annotation, it was very good annotation. I'm presuming it was your first one. And I love the words. Fantastic. Next time, I would encourage you to try to do a little bit more variations. Okay? So, beautiful. Let's go to Tomas. People aren't saying too much today. We give Tomas a follow. Joined fairly recently, got some clubs. New England. That rating's just going up after joining the dojo. And then we go My Games. This was played pretty recently. Let's see if we got a time graph. 100-leg smack. That's pretty good. Now, let's just say it's always good when we get to the dojo and somebody has been using their time like this and their opponent simply hasn't. So that's always encouraging. All right. Let's go to the game review. Fine. Fine. Poor. Because if black castles, they defend and develop at the same time. Knight g5 doesn't develop. Blunder. And of course, now you should take the thing. And they should now castle. You should take the thing, and you don't. Knight d5, I think they're winning your knight. See? I think they're winning your knight. We could still do knight f6 and f7. Let's go knight f6 and then knight f7. Good. Good. Okay. That's crushing. Knight f6. Check to the miserable king. That was pretty good. 100 leg smack. Now your opponent could have done a little bit better by taking their time. Now, let's just say a couple things. Your next challenge here in chess is going to be, one, you don't want to make developing move, or you don't want to make him, you don't want to move a developed piece twice unless you're really threatening something. Here you could castle, but more importantly, look, you could just take this thing. Thank you very much. A3, that's not a developing move. Take that thing on f7. Oh no. And now, look, you're the one moving the bell piece twice, knight d5, and then your knight's hanging. These are the things that will decide the game, and you need to improve on to make it to the next level. Okay, next up we got Treetop. Really appreciate the book recommendations, and we've gotten a lot from the focus on time control and basic tactics at this level. I drug through a tilt phase over a few days that really tanked my ChessCom score and would have benefited from a quick lesson on when to step away. Loving the program so far. Beautiful. Former high school chess player. Look at this. He's going for it. Okay. Still provisional. Great. Okay, so 5'11". That must have been his big tank over there. Let's see if we got some clubs. He's in the Midwest. Looking good. Here we got... Okay, so now let me explain what we did here. So when I had to really communicate this with Jack, and we're still evolving, but let me try to explain. Most people here are just putting their games, the games that they publish are simply the ones that they've analyzed, right? Yes, there's power users who are doing opening files and all this stuff. You can see Treetop here has got some differences between classical games and blunder games. But most people just have that one. And what I really wanted to make sure is that they didn't lose it. Like a lot of times I'm on the grad show and then they don't hit publish or something, and then I don't even see their games. And so I was like, Jack, first of all, everyone has to have a file called My Games, right? Everything has to go in there. And I just realized now that we have this file, I can move my file around. Move your games into My Games, because that is a big pillar of the dojo. Is you have to go over your games, you have to play longer games and annotate them. So this was very important. Now I don't know if I like the subtext. Serious classical game I have played. It looks a little janky, but that is the reason why we have this. And to my mind, this My Games should be all the way up top as a default. So let me go back a second. Home. As a default, that's the way I think it should be, right? Because that's the most important thing of anybody's work. All right, this is Treetop here. Let's go take a look. Boom, boom. And we got a time graph. Ooh, nice time graph. So, well played by both in terms of time. That looks fantastic. This is a shorter game, but still, a lot of times at this level, people are moving too fast. These guys did it right. So here we go. Fine, fine. I think G6 is okay. You're doing okay, though. Fine, fine. Okay, fine, fine. Oh, yeah, beautiful annotations. Okay, so this is, here, one of the things I really like about what you're doing is it's clear that you don't know the names of these openings, and you shouldn't. At this level, you should have no desire to be learning the names of all these fancy openings. This, however, is a dragon setup. Black has done fine. You've done fine. Okay. First mistake. What's the problem? Not developing. Good move. Knight g4. Mistake. What's the problem? Not developing. Now, your move a3 isn't terrible, but let's just stress the knight weather wasn't doing anything on b4. Good. I like that. Poor. Not developing. Okay. So, what would have been stronger? Knight d5 followed by knight e7 if they take on b2. Bishop d5 doesn't do anything. Good move by black. Now he's messing with you. Passive. Knight b1. And now you blundered. Okay, so let's say something obvious. At this level, this is what's going to decide the business. Blunders like this, right? So bishop d5 and then this one were the ones that are killing you. c3, in general, I don't want you to trade queens if you are down in material. Now your opponent blunders, and you said thank you very much. Okay, so very typical game at this level where I did this whole series, by the way, how to make 500, how to make 600, chess.com. And it was all about that. At this level, this is what it's about. Okay, so well done. Next up, we have Get Chess, who's graduated a number of times. And let's read what Get Chess says. In fact, I remember we looked at Get Chess. All the senseis did, because I think it was because he was having trouble graduating and like had already done the tactics. We're still working on so many things in the program, trying to dial it in. Okay, so here we go. Thanks to the dojo for helping me stay on track and not be overwhelmed with the hundreds, thousands of things that I should do. I try to follow the dojo prescription for at least 1 hour per day and 10 hours per week as my baseline. 10 hours a week is great. I then will work on things that I think are my weak spots with a little extra time. My current weakest spots are tactics and reading my opponent's moves and plans. I don't think I could have gotten this far without the dojo. Special thanks to everyone that I've played in the dojo. Those are the only long games that I can find online, and by far they are the best games online that I play. Now, what he's talking about is the dojo tournaments. You should check it out. As far as OTB, I have found a few places to play, but there are two problems. The closest is about 2 hours drive each way. Second, most of the players are 1700 USF and above, so I routinely get crushed, especially in the opening. Okay. So, if you're playing 1700, you might be losing anyway. You know, you're not 1700 yet. All right. So, let's go check out Get Chess over here. All right. See, this is what we were talking about, dude. Get Chess has been crushing it. And we want to, I think, if I remember right, the issue was that Get Chess had done all of the tactics requirements, and then, still hadn't made it. So let's just take a look. His tactics rating's great. He's crushed it on the tactics rating, even though his checkmate test, he had a big fail. Okay, actually, let's just dive into this, and I want to look at your tactics here. Okay, so he's got his first chunk of maiden twos that he's working on. Everyone's first chess workbook, great. Extra tactics sessions. He's added stuff. He's added stuff because we didn't give him enough. But he's crushed the puzzle rush and crushed the survival. So honestly, let me just say, I think you keep working on your tactics, but I don't think tactics are the problem you think they are. And what I mean by that is, of course your tactics can get better, but I think they're on the level, they're above 700 where you're trying to get, right? They are, because you've done those benchmarks. So we're going to suspect other problems. It's not the openings. And we want to also say it's hard to get better when we're older. Mainline Chess Club, I want to visit you guys someday. All right, games. Let's go take a look at chess. We'll go my games. Boom. And here we go. Oh, wait. We want to go date created. There we go. So this is Moo and get chess. Right. So first, before we read this, let's go look at the time. And we will say here we definitely can see right away that you have a problem moving too fast. Okay? Too fast. For sure. Moving slower will help you. Okay. So you think it's... right. Okay. I don't know if that's true. I think the above focus has led to my natural pace increasing and I need to slow down again. I think that's true. I don't know if it has to do with you focusing on tactics, but you definitely need to slow down. Blunder avoidance. At this level, most games are going to be decided by people just blundering stuff. Okay. This is great. I like this first and second pass a lot. All right, here we go. Fine. Now, just to give you a sense, once you get a little bit better with the openings, you'll discover knight e4 is a dirty trick because here you kind of solve all your troubles. But your move is fine. Poor move. Now, we talked about this as being the most common sixth move position. Knight d5 is definitely a little annoying here. So you said thank you very much, and you went back. Very good. I don't know if h6 is necessary. You know I don't like it. You know I don't like it. I think you should try to evict this knight, but a default move could be bishop g4, bishop e6. Just developing. Snip. Uh-oh, we don't like that. Now here's a problem with the computer. You shouldn't write it down unless you understand it. Or rather, when you look at it, you should try to think about it in human terms. So why didn't you take, by the way? Because you were worried about some kind of rook g1 stuff, right? It's understandable. It's kind of scary. The machine has something, obviously, that's going to prevent that. But even I'm a little terrified there. The problem with bishop g4 is precisely this move. So, yeah, h3, and now g4 would mess with you. All right, here he comes. Good move, rook g1. Yeah, he's planning to mess with you. Knight d4, okay. Rook g3, terrible. What's the problem? It's not developing. And now you should play c6. Good. I think you should have gone to e3. b5, good move. And now you took. Yeah, and a5, let's just talk about it. a5 is the normal thing because what you're doing is you're saying the pawn has to move to let the bishop out to not get trapped, and then we're going to whack him. A little weird. Good move. Good move. I don't know about bishop h7. a4, queen b6, right. So now I'm worried about him playing g6, which he does. Now, the issue is, couldn't you have played queen takes h4 here? Oh, but the other simple problem is, g6 move is a blunder because of this. So he needed to protect that first. And you missed it. Does that make sense? No, that's just a blunder. Thank you very much. Okay. Good moves. Good moves. Notice his knight isn't doing anything. Good moves. Check. Good moves. Simple thing. Just give it to me. No, that's a nice cleanup that you've got going on. Dang, take it easy. Good, well played. So, it's about time, and I thought you played that phase of the game very well. Like you had control over the game. So that was all well done. And I like what you're doing, whether you're doing the computer last, but with the computer, you want to try to, like when he says something, you want to be like, oh, this is the reason why. Or maybe you just say, I don't get it. Right? Farison said they're describing that maybe an over-reliance on tactics have made them just blitz out moves. But look, nothing makes you do anything. You could do a bunch of non-tactics and still blitz out your moves. It's easy to just blitz out your moves. That's called impulsive play. All right, here we go. But I think Get Chess is on the right path. And he's been here for a while. He's 50 plus like me. He's working every day. And I'm hopeful that we have enough tactics, first of all, for him to do. Because whether he focuses on them or not, before he gets to the next level, he's going to need at least a diet of tactics. Doesn't mean that's an over-reliance or anything. Just means a diet of tactics as he moves along, And one of the problems I saw when I looked at his profile earlier was we weren't giving him enough. And so that's something we are working on. We have ideas, but we have also 34 dev projects that are not getting done. If you are a developer, you want to help out, you know where to find us. Next up, we have Represso. Kind of sounds like espresso, but a repressed espresso. Just started, has done some tactics. We're going to give him a follow. Joined the dojo, graduated, no clubs. We got some games. This is Represso and Wise. Kind of lightly annotated. We're going to just check the time graph. Very important to see, at this level, your opponents are going to move too fast. You did better. So here we go. So far, I don't have any problem with what you're doing. Now that's actually a fancy move. That's like a GM move. Good move that we've transposed into some theory. But let me just say, theory or not, you're just making good, solid, developing moves. Knight b3 is fine. Knight takes c6 is also fine. Okay. And I agree with you. Knight d5 is probably better. Good move. Okay. 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 I like that you're just developing. It's great. Terrible move, giving up the dark squares and the best bishop, releasing the tension. Don't take the pin piece. Good move. Oh, you're playing brilliant. That looks like a blunder. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so now you're up a pawn and you have the two bishops. In a GM level game, this would be, we call it winning. But here, I think both players will probably still make big mistakes. Hang something. b3. Bishop e5. I'm not a huge fan. For example, the GM move is actually kind of, you got multiple good moves here, but the GM move would be f3. I know it looks weird, but you're going to bring your king in, you're going to put your pawn here, dominate that knight. Put the pawns in the opposite color of your unopposed bishop. That's all too fancy. I just don't want you to hang anything. All right. Good. Now f3. Little poor. You talked about f3. Good. And you talked about that idea. Great. So he's trying to get a little frisky. Good move. Good that you didn't play rook c2. He's getting frisky. That doesn't do anything. Check to the miserable king. And now bishop a3. Okay, and you got some nice notes about rook takes a7. To me, it feels a little bit like you're just making kind of random attacking moves, but I think I'm down with this. Check. Well, okay. Is it that bad of a move that you did? I don't know if it's that bad of a move. It's not. I don't understand why it's a double question mark. Now he has to go back. And you say rook h1 with mate in 2. It's not true, though. Oh, it is true. Look, the bishops control Lito. The bishops. Okay, I get it now. I get it. That's fun. That's fun. Okay, so, because look at this. E4. We would want to do this move to get the king up, but then the rook goes and talks to us. Oh, no. So, like I said, when we lost control, now this is hard. This is a harder skill, and I don't think this is what you should really be worrying about here. But the issue was you gave squares to your opponent's pieces on the light squares, and your pawn here, because he has 2 pieces that can do light squares, and you have this beautiful unopposed dark square bishop. So your pawns, in general, want to be on light squares for maximal control. In that knight e5, very good. Good notes. Now, also, you're talking about bishop b4 here. Okay. And you can't do king g2. That's a really good one. I want to just admit, at first I didn't see that the bishop was holding the back rank. And you talk about e4. I think also, oh, this is amazing. Look at this. I was thinking f5 to block the bishop, but watch this one. Check, check. Oh, but then we go h3. King h2, we have rook h1. Excuse me. But king h3, now we're winning the coconut. He would have to play rook d8. And then I still like your position. Okay, bishop e4. Rook c7. Check. Bishop f5. I don't understand bishop f5. Oh, here. I see. Okay, this is computer generated, but this is actually a worthy pattern to know. I remember I had this pattern in a blitz game in like 1980 something against John Donaldson, and he got a draw from me in a winning when I thought it was winning. King h1 leads to rook h2. Okay, good. So he turned it. By the way, this is some computer analysis he's doing, but it's worthy, right? It's worthy. All right. Oh no. Oh no, and he resigned. Oh man. Yeah. Okay, a couple things I want to stress. Let's go to the time graph. Your opponent got lucky, and I want you to see this thing here. In general, you had a nice time rating, but here I can tell from here you stopped thinking. And a lot of times this is just due to exhaustion, and you got to realize, oh, chess is a game where I'm going to have to pull it together at the very end. You have 30-second increment, so you could have done all kinds of stuff. My student's calling. How you doing, Bows?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Don't say anything nasty. We're live.
Okay, I'll keep it PG.
Okay. So, why don't you just follow? I guess I could also share my screen with you, but if you just follow the Twitch channel, it's only a couple seconds behind.
No, if you can share your screen with me.
Let's try.
2. That makes life significantly easier because last time I tried to do that, it was a bit difficult to have a coherent conversation.
All right, boss. You see the screen?
2nd. No.
It should be a chessboard.
Oh, yeah. I see it now.
Okay, good. We're on to the next person. This person's name I can't pronounce. Let's call him Sintobo. First graduation in the dojo. Really enjoyed the structure and the website for logging progress on tasks in particular. Been a new and valuable experience meeting and talking with other chess players, doing post-mortem sparring sessions via the dojo, and then finding out about Lee Chess ladders. One adaptation I made is that I used the pins feature to set myself a number of tasks I needed to complete before I hit the graduation button, making it much more of a process goal than purely a rating goal. Funnily enough, my most recent game annotation to be reviewed on stream is another featuring Neil GD. I know that guy. I'm not proud of the game at all. I didn't deserve to win, but it means it's a useful game for me to be featured on the show. We're going to look at moves 2022. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Sintobo. We're going to go give him a look. This is Sintobo. Join the dojo. Look at that. Crushing. That's what happens when you join the dojo. All right. So, I'm going to give him a follow. Clubs. Nothing. Games. Let's go my games. Ooh. Now, wait. He said something. Neil GD is what I'm supposed to be looking for. So far, I do not. There he is. All right. First thing here, we got a clock time. Oh, very nice usage of time. Look at that. This is the 30-30. So, also, I should point out that as you move up the dojo ladder, you get, like at the very bottom, you're allowed to play 30-0 games. And now it gets a little bit more intense with the 30-30s. And this just leads to better chess. So, I want to say this is like I think the dojo is better than most in just getting people to move slower. We've done it. We haven't cracked it, but we're doing a good job. All right, here we go. Game review. All right, here we go. By the way, in the chat, we got Jamil, who you can watch a bunch of videos I've done on Jamil's progress. So F4 is obviously a little controversial. This is called the Vienna. And one crazy thing that goes down is that people do big time research on their opponents when and so if anything else, it shows you if you just played principled moves instead of doing openings, even at this level, they're going to scout you out and turn on the computer. Good move. And this is all theory. And this is a little weird. Normal is B takes C3. Okay. So, the advantage, of course, of this move is that the bishop comes out immediately. And maybe he can give himself a setup with somehow the knight coming here. The downside is this pawn is weak. Okay, boom. Well, that's probably a good move. A little weird. I think bishop d3 is better. Castles. Fine. Now probably bishop g4, bishop e6. I don't know about bishop f5. All right, c4. My idea was this pawn is pinned. I do think it's pinned. And I don't think knight b4 is as strong as one you might think it is here. I wasn't scared of this, but I should be. I noticed the a pawn is hanging. I can't deal with both threats. Wow, very poor. Now hold on. Can't you play knight d4? What do you think, Jamil?
1 second. You'll have my undivided attention in 30 seconds.
All right, never mind, Jamil. You can come back later. To me, it looks like knight d4 deals with el problemitos in the casitos. Now, maybe it's still a little bit confusing. Let's look into it. Bishop g4. Now the idea would be rook d2, knight takes. Can he still steal a pawn? I'm going to guess that this isn't going to work out well for him, but maybe. Maybe he could play just like this. There are reasons not to believe it, though, because we got this pin and all kinds of stuff is happening. Let's look at that again. Knight d4, bishop g4. Yeah, let's just play bishop e2. Yeah, simple chess. Snip, snop, and knight a2 is not a problem because we're going to win that knight if he takes it back. Okay, so bishop d3. Now you're making Neil look good. He takes, then he snips an important pawn from you. And you react with violence and say, I'm a bit lost and feel vulnerable. Now you are taking your time, that's good. Queen d7. That's unpleasant. Good move, queen d7. Good use of the annotation. Yeah. b3, now a5, a4 should be devastating. Okay, plays rook f8. Encouraging a5, unfortunately. Oh yeah, now we're crispy critters. Yeah, we just hung all of our coconuts there. Now, could black have done better than this? I think so. That's no good. Oh, now he blunders. Look at that. Oh, no, Neil GD. Oh, Neil, buddy. So, guys, let me just stress this. The opening study at this phase of the game makes no sense. People are hanging mates. They're hanging mates. More resistance went down. I agree with that. I don't think the opening has anything to do with it. Okay. And definitely your opponent, played some good moves. But then, I thought queen d7 was a great move. But he then totally lost his mind. Totally lost his mind.
Well, that was unfortunate.
Yeah. And again, I think this c4 knight b4 was not the end of the world that you thought it was. Because when you talk about resistance, this would be my point of controversy or point of discussion, that you still are fully in the game with knight d4.
Was knight d4 that terrible?
Well, let's just say this. Black plays bishop f5 with hopes of getting to c2. So, it's almost like he's kind of all in once he plays bishop f5. The bishop f5 I don't like because it leaves this whole situation unguarded. Was it that bad? I don't know what else he's supposed to do.
See, I don't know. I don't really like c4, though, to be honest with you.
No, c4's weird. C4's weird. Yeah, he could do all kinds of things. A simple one would be bishop d3, snip, snop, and then put your pawn on d4.
Yeah, because the knight is poor on c6 because of the pawn on c3. So c4, I'm not convinced about.
Let me just say, I don't know how to evaluate this, but I do know that white has got a fine game anyways here with knight d4. He's doing fine. It's very complicated, but he's still fine. c4 is the kind of move I don't like, but the computer might like it just because it's still not easy for black to deal with this situation. If you don't take, I'm going to play a3, I'm going to win your coconut, yada, yada, Okay, well done. Also, Neil GD, he messaged me a little while ago about Discord stuff, so he's a Discord master. Me and Jamil are not Discord masters. Jamil, can you check your Discord and maybe confirm or not confirm that you have a game coming up? Oh, there's something else I want you to confirm for me, buddy. On the description of your tournament, how come this got all wronged? On the description of your tournament, it should say there's a thread now on Discord where people are from your tournament are saying the things that we had talked about before, namely, hey, my name's Jamil. I'm available from these times. Message me, Baus. All right.
Looks like I have a game set up for tomorrow.
And could you confirm that other question for me? Like, if you go to your tournament, can you see a little link to a Discord?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me try to figure this out.
All right, my friends, we have our first OTB rating, 1070. Looking good. They joined a while back, but only started putting their business in here. So, let's see what we got here. We got some clubs, nothing. Games, got some games. Boom. All right, so we got some OTB stuff going on. Looks all right. These don't look, actually, I just want to see if there's
okay. Hold on. I'm on the ChessDojo website.
Yeah.
And you want me to...
I want you to go to your tournament and see if there's a link to a Discord thread where you guys are chatting about how you get to play the next, when you have time to play the next round, that kind of question.
And where would that be? I'm on the tournament page.
Okay, look, you go tournaments, round. I'll go 1800, 1900. Bang. So right over here, let's say there should be a little thing here which says, here's a little, on your thing, here's a little Discord link for you to organize your games.
I don't see it.
Damn. Fuck. Jack! No Discord link. Can other people who are doing this confirm this to me? Because me and Jack even showed it to me at the meeting we did. He was like, here it is. But I don't see nothing. Wait, what about pairings? Games?
Yeah, I see the same thing as you.
Oh, that's very frustrating. Okay. All right, this is Puzzling World, my friends. We're going to figure out that other thing. Gotta yell at Jack. So, fine. B5. All part of my preparation. It's a pretty fancy move, I gotta say. A3. Okay. Oh, White's playing. White's doing interesting stuff. Wow, that's a fancy move too. So, Bishop E3 definitely looks poor. Now, the reason I think he doesn't do BC4 is he's probably worried about Knight G4. But what he's missing is Rook A2. All right, so that's...
Do you have to worry... Here's a question. What about Bishop... Bishop D4.
Oh, the knight's here.
Yeah, so Bishop... Oh, okay, sorry. I thought there was some Knight E4 at the end of that. Okay, guess not.
So yeah, you should definitely take on C4, and yours C5, and just take this pawn, buddy. Just take that pawn. Then develop your bishop either here or here. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Good. Now, castling short would have been safer. Maybe you can do this knight C5 thing. Did White have anything better? Interesting question. I don't know. If I was... Oh, here's a little problemito in Casito. That might worry somebody, but then knight D3 looks like a pain. What a mess. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
hold on.
it was over, Jamil. It was over. It was over.
Okay.
So now you're winning. Good. Frisky. Knight C5 would have been the safe move. All right, we're going to let him in. And now here's where we need more annotations, and here's where you need to be slowing it down. If I go back to the time graph, this is a 10-minute game, bro? Oh, no, dude. We don't do no 10-minute games here, bros. Come on now. King D8 comes to mind. All right, we're going to mark that as reviewed. And we're going to go back. 10 minutes? 10 minutes? No, boss. No, are all your games 10 minutes? 10 minutes. No, you got to get it right. What's weird is that he is doing a OTB rating, but I don't see any of these as being OTB games. Maybe this one? Can't tell. All right. Okay, so this is a real game. No time graph or anything, but this is a real game. Fine. Lots of fancy words are known. Good. C4, very fancy move. H5, mistake. And you talk about knight e6 here. It's hard not to play g6. I mean bishop h5. Now you could still probably play knight e6. Boar move, giving you the d5 square. Good. Fine. Simple and good chess here. I wouldn't have taken that thing, but okay. Oh yeah, I would have. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is where your rating jumped up to 1200 USCF. Good. It would be great to have you do more of these games and also to write down the time so we can have a sense of things. Notice you're definitely spending too much time on openings. This is some dark sauce here, right here. Okay, boom. Next up we have, hold on. He wrote to me and he told me how to do this. Now Jamil's been living in Portugal, so maybe he's gonna say, I'm gonna say amable, which means lovable, right? Finally, I am here.
What are you talking about?
This guy's
Is that
name.
Portuguese?
Well, it's Spanish, and I have a feeling the Portuguese is going to be very similar.
Likely.
Finally, I am here. It took forever to get past this level. I feel I learned a lot. I need to play more games. I'm working on making the time to play more and do more. Life is a little rough, but I am not a punk. You hear that, Jamil? That's the kind of thing you need. That's the kind of motivational speech you need, buddy. So 921, beautiful. And Amable has been working on it pretty good. He had a rough patch in life in April, but he's come back to it. Is he part of the Spanish dojo? Dominican Republic dojo. There we go. Okay. So this is actually, I always want to say thank you very much, Amable, for doing this. He is clearly the man who has started the Dominican Republic dojo. He is our founding member. The founding member of Dominican Republic dojo. So I'm pumped about that. Okay, so here we go. Evil Fabiano Caruana. You got my attention, bud. But when I'm doing a bunch of things, it's kind of hard sometimes. I got Jamil on the line. I'm trying to pronounce Amable, So, I don't know what you're saying, though. The OTB I played was the 800 one. I see. The Puzzling World. Got it. But I did cover your game, right? I did cover an OTB game. So, we got there. Okay, good. So, this is the famous Amable. Now, here's a little issue wait, I'm confused. So this one doesn't have a My Games folder. Why not? There it is, My Games. Okay, yeah. We're having some needs to be first in line. Okay. So, but Amable, let's go, gate created. There we go. So this is Dan. He's playing down over here. Give it a look. And here we got a time graph. And Amable, we can definitely say that you were moving too fast here. And he says, so I had an over-the-board blitz tournament. Started playing 3-2 games online, and that ruined my brain. I am now playing too fast. Okay. The point is, I know I played too fast on this game, Jesse. All right. I think, well, Jamil, you give me some feedback. You think seeing a number attached to your name there, like a 404 rating, you think that's helpful for people to understand that they move too fast?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's cool. It's similar to how when you use chess.com's engine to analyze your game, it gives you an estimated rating.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's quite helpful just to get an idea of where you're at.
Okay, let's say a couple things. This is a standard thing that a lot of beginner players really love to do because they feel it's a basic setup and they feel like they know what they're doing. But it's like it's breaking all the rules. So I'm feeling, my sense is, if you didn't know anything and hadn't read any opening, whatever, however you discovered this, if you hadn't discovered it, it would have been better for your chess. Because then, if you hadn't, you would have played knight f3 like a normal person. Okay, f4. Knight e4, moving twice, a little frisky. Bishop f5. Okay. Now, there's a lot to ask here. One question is, could you have played g4 here? All right, here we go. Castles. Knight e5. All right. And now he takes. F6 comes to mind for black. So, the general issue with taking is, and the dream of Federico the f-pawn, almost anytime you move the f-pawn, is the idea that we can develop the rook where it stands. So, we got to agree that taking is controversial, and that when you take with a knight, it's also controversial because you're losing a tempo with fe. Now, that said, it's still going to be a trial for us to win on the king side because this bishop is so strong. Knight e4. Yeah, I still think black is fine. Poor move. Why? Because it's not developing. All right. What should he do? He should castle. Bishop g4. Kind of interesting. Now, I want you to see you're not fixing your problem piece. Right? So, you just, in general, bishop d2 should be your default move. All right, this doesn't look right. Now we're going to take. And now that bishop on h4 is hung out to dry. And he's doubled his pawns. I'm so happy you developed the bishop. Good. Castles. Queen e2. Fine. And now bishop e1. And you're right. This move is okay, but I think rook f4 might have been better. Well, the problem with bishop e1 is the bishop on h4 is a victim where it stands. And the question would be...
King h1?
King h1, but also what I want you to see about rook f4 is I think you're winning the bishop. Or at least a pawn. Because the only way out is queen h6 or queen c8. And then I win the pawn. And if you don't do anything, I'll play g3 to trap the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is if you play g3 immediately, then dude survives with queen g6. And survives is a strong word because here, queen f2, I can still win the pawn on f5. Okay, so let's just say something obvious. You already know it, that if you'd spent longer on this move, you would have found that stuff. Okay. We see, one of the things we see in a lot of the games that Jamil plays too is his opponents, they're just kind of like searching for some random threat. Like this dude is like, oh, I want to do something over here. No, you're not going to do anything over there, buddy.
Which is queen f2 now, no?
Yeah, well, you could have done that too, yeah. Well, now we're just losing the pawn. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now we're winning. And you say that rook f7 is a mistake. Okay. I still like your position a lot after rook f7. But queen g4, queen c4 both look like they just going to win something soon. Come on, you got to take the rook. Queen f2. Here I didn't know what to do. But right now, looking at the game, I should have moved my queen to c4. 100% it's winning. Okay.
Yeah, I think c4 is probably the better move.
But this one, I got to say, you're definitely crushing. There's no doubt about it. You are winning this game, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, but queen c4 is... oh, okay.
Check to the miserable king. In conclusion, I need to slow down. Great. Great. I thank you again for starting the Dominican Republic Club. I think that's super cool. Hopefully we're going to get some more people out there doing that. Someday, I'm going to go Dominican Republic. I'm going to guess, Jamil, you have not been to the Dominican Republic.
No, I have not.
Have you been Caribbean at all? I think you did some island out there once, right?
Yeah. I've been to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the Cayman Islands. When I was a kid, I went to Barbados.
Nice.
Where else? Yeah, I've been to the Indian Ocean quite a bit as well.
Okay, this is Ultras. And Ultras doesn't say anything. You say anything over here? No. He's in the Asian dojo. I always say Asian dojo is too broad for me. I want something a little bit more specific. You got a Japan trip coming up, right?
Mm-hmm. In Christmas.
All right. Ultras, obviously you need to put some stuff up here, bud. You need to put some stuff, but you just joined. So welcome to the dojo. Hopefully we'll see some more of you soon. We got some people in Japan. Chess is not a thing in Japan. But they have some players, but yeah.
No, Nakamura here. I guess he's American. He's born in the U.S.
Yeah. All right, here we got Kay Borman. I've been following the program for nearly a year and a half now and still greatly enjoy it. My favorite parts of the program are the assigned tactics books, sensei streams, and sparring other members. I have a difficult time staying focused with game collections and model games. This is partly due to working full-time and being a husband and father. Was wondering if there are any tricks to staying focused and retaining model games. Would you please review my game against Neil? Neil's famous this stream. This was my first game against Lichess Ladders that Neil created, of Lichess Ladders. It's a quickly growing site that focuses on longer time control games. There are 3 different ladders between 2 time controls, and this game is 30-30. Great. Okay. So, knows all. Thank you for subscribing.
Have you heard of shogi?
Shogi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Japanese chess.
I still don't think shogi is that popular in Japan, though. They're more obsessed with the Go.
Go is originally Chinese, no?
Probably. I'm actually.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's a pretty ancient game. Okay, Kay Borman's one of my favorite guys. Mechanic. There's nothing more working class than when a dude says, "I'm a mechanic in Philadelphia," right? That's the real deal. And look, the man's a worker. Look at this dude, man. Look at this dude. Jamil he's just like, dang, if I had this guy's consistency, I would be making it. All right, so his tactics are crushing. Let's see which clubs he's part of. We got the Knows All Crow. Let's go Philly Dojo. And, yeah, brilliant. Okay, so this is looking great. And Kate Borman, finally made it. Really cool to see. All right, he wants a game with Neil. So we're gonna do 2 games with Neil today. This is Lichess Ladders thing. And first we're gonna look at this time graph. So, the obvious thing to see is we're going to look at some point. Kay Borman really tanked. Neil's time looked fairly good until the very end. Maybe that was simply a winning position. We're going to find out. Okay, let's get into it. Boom, boom. Fine. Good. Little passive. Good. And I think that's the perfect description, is bishop e2, a little passive.
Would you prefer bishop c4?
There's a couple ideas that white has. White has to decide whether he wants to castle long or short. Yeah.
Okay, so what would your candidate moves have been?
Bishop c4, bishop d3.
Uh-huh.
I was hesitant to play this because black doesn't want to trade off the bishop for the knight in the Tartakower. However, if white moves the knight, do we just exchange bishops? Now, this is a funny thing that I've seen many players play bishop g4 in this position. It can't be the end of the world to play bishop g4. But in general, I would say you want to make the move that you're certain you're going to do first. So we're not sure about bishop g4. What are we certain of, Jimmy? Which move are we certain of?
Okay, rook e8.
Good, rook e8. And the reason for that, instead of knight d7, is we might decide on knight d7 that we wanted our bishop out. We're going to see what white does, but we know we want to play rook e8. All right, so here we go. Fine. A little passive. Knight f8, good. And one of the things we'll say about this knight f8 is that you could leave the bishop. You could imagine this position with the bishop on c8 and just go knight d7, knight f8 anyway. One of the reasons that rook e8 is a good move. All right, bishop f4, good. You're playing this great. h3, and now we got an interesting situazione, because I think you're totally right to not take it. Now our knight coming to f4 might turn into a thing. b3, superficial. I think his default move.
Here's a question then,
Yes.
Jesse. Would you prefer bishop d7?
Good question. Yeah. I think
Only to keep the file open.
Black's intention was that he wanted at some point bishop d5.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think bishop d7 might be stronger, but it's only because of c4, with the intention that if knight f4, we go bishop f1. And now it seems like the bishop on e6 is misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But for this level, I'm not going to shout at him for that, because he is trying to be active with bishop d5. So knight f4, very good. And now bishop d5 is a strong move. Knight e2, womp womp. I had a good knight in white's camp and just gave it up because I couldn't quickly come up with something better. And you talk about bishop d5, absolutely. That's just a strong move. It's very unpleasant for white to deal with this. I don't think he's lost or anything. But, yeah, it's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about c4 rook e2, but you don't have to be a genius to play rook e2. You don't I mean, if you don't, maybe rook e2 is great, but look, you could have just played this.
I think he probably just didn't, my guess is that he might have not recognized in the moment that knight e2 came with check.
Maybe. By the way, this is really good analysis. And it's really important to analyze this kind of position because your opponent's played passively and you're going to get something like this again. And in general, the move that's screaming to be played is bishop d5. That's why you put it there. That's why you put it there, right? All right, knight e2. Now bishop d5. I think you're right, Jamil. I think dude did it because he was worried. And why are we exchanging off that knight? What are we doing? No comprendo. King f1. Queen h2, clever. g4, good move. g6, okay, good move. We're going to put the king on g7. All right, now we have ourselves a fancy endgame.
Wait, hold on, Jesse, quickly. Go back to g6.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. He can't move the queen because of the mate on h1.
Yeah. Very interesting position. At a GM level, we would say that black has a little bit of grief. And the reason for that is that in the queen endgame, the passed pawn is really a beast. So white should play c4 and d5. And the problem is black can't easily create a passed pawn. However, at this level, I would say it's negligible because your king is so safe from checks. Snip, snap, check. And now he goes king d1. I think he should be thinking about king f1. And just to show you a little bit about how this looks, it goes like here, here, here. And the question is then, how powerful is this? And we're not done. I think king f8 comes, d6 comes, king e8. And we got ourselves an interesting position here. I don't know what the eval is. I want to stress that. Yeah. We could also play d7 and queen d6 or something. But it looks like black's king. Oh, wait, no, this is blundered. See, look, I blundered. King e8, and now we have check to the miserable king. So now what does that mean? It means the king cannot approach. King cannot approach. Now, the reason I did that was just to give you a flavor of how powerful the passed pawn is in a queen endgame. Why is it? Because the queen can't blockade the pawn. The other queen can muscle her out of the way. So black is doing fine now again. Now we got that pawn blockaded. Black is making some rando checks. And if we wanted a draw, I guess we could play queen d2 to a5. In general, queen d2 is where the queen wants to be anyway, behind the passed pawn. But it's not easy for white because white blew it here. Queen g2, that doesn't look right. h6, I don't like it. All right, now we're going to go back to the time graph. We're at move 37. Why do I do this? Because, first of all, Kay Borman was in a little bit of time pressure. But what I want you to see is that the players, it's my experience when we get to this level where calculation is so important, people stop thinking. Okay? So, for example, this is a very complicated position. Very complicated.
What's your inclination? I mean,
my inclination is that white's probably in big trouble now.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of plans for black, I'd be inclined to walk the king over and potentially even temporarily park the queen on d6.
Well, look, why d6? Why not be right in his face?
Yeah, but the point is to get king f8.
We can go king f8. You have two good moves here. King f8, but also the very basic a5, followed by b5, followed by a4. We need our own pass pawn.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a waste of time. White is trying to play queen d2. If they get it, we might have some grief. Good move. Good. Check to the miserable king. Though this game was basically decided by one player hanging all their coconuts. That's how this game was decided. Well done. Queen c4 I like better. Queen c4. Good. Okay, my friends. Good game. That was Neil. Neil's kind of a hero to the dojo, done this Lead Chess Ladders thing. And he's talking to me about Discord stuff that I don't understand, but I think is helpful for the dojo. Okay. So. Nose is talking. Nose has got a Morphy study coming up. Nose, by the way, if you don't know, has a lot of great studies on Lead Chess that you should check out. Okay, let's continue. Next up, we have Mr. G Squared, first graduation. It says, playing in the Dojo Classical Tournament has been great for my chess improvement, along with analyzing and annotating my classical games and doing postmortems. I have also been making flashcards of my mistakes and blunders in the Anki app. You know what that is? You've heard of that?
Yeah, no, I know what it is. It's a spaced repetition system. Well, it's an app that uses the spaced repetition system. It's a flashcard app.
Is it just for chess or for everything?
No, I've never heard it. I've only ever used it for languages. Actually, and mathematical equations, but I don't even know how you'd use it for chess, I guess. The way it works is you input flashcards.
Mm-hmm.
If you get, and then the app will test you. If you get the answer right, you increase your score for that specific card.
Okay.
The higher your score on each card, the longer the app waits to ask you to test you on that specific flashcard again.
Uh-huh.
And if you get it wrong, you reset the score to 0.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to a degree to the system that Chessable uses.
Right.
But I have no idea how you'd use Anki for chess. I mean, I guess you could memorize openings through notation.
You can do openings, but you could also do like tactics. Get the tactics.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be quite a cumbersome thing to do because you'd have to upload the photos of the positions into each flashcard.
There's a dude, an adult approver from Boston, who literally like takes his chess books, puts a scissor to them, copies out, like tears out positions, and creates flashcards out of his poor books, dude.
Yeah, but I feel like there'd be more efficient ways.
There's more efficient. Okay, that's cool though. I learned about the Anki app. Here we got clubs, no clubs, games. Let's see if we got some games. Nothing. Mr. G Squared, you need to put some games up, boss. All right, Jamil, the players are going to get a little stronger here, so hopefully this will be a little bit more interesting for you.
I just want to respond to George Hornsby. He says you can take a screenshot of the position for Anki, and an advantage that stops you from making one move at a time and forces you to see the whole solution. That's true, although essentially every single tactics book offers that same benefit, I'd say. So like, Jesse always goes on about the Polgar mates. Same thing with that. And if you want to see the solution, you got to turn the pages to the back of the book. So there's some friction there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jacko says, fell off the program for a few months, mainly due to getting stuck playing Blitz, but kept doing puzzles on my commute and playing the odd rapid game with a good enough win rate to graduate again. Played my first classical game in a few months and enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to following the program. Graduation show was good motivation to return as well. All right, so here we got Jacko. He's a victim of the non-dojo work. We talked about that earlier. No one understands. Clubs. Oh, he's there with you. He's there with you in London. I guess you're no longer in London. You used to be in London. Yeah, so we got some games. All right. Now, he hasn't done... Let me make sure here. Date created. He hasn't done... Oh, here we go. Yeah. This is a more recent game here. Let's take a look. Time graph. Oh, now I just want to say I am thankful that we are not the white player in this game, my friends. That person got a 0. They got a 0. And sharps here, we're going to see. Now, hopefully he's already winning by move 42. Well, let's just keep that in the back of our head about what's going on at move 42. Okay, so this guy's blitzing out moves all game.
What are these? Okay, they're both 1800. And these are chess.com ratings.
No, I think these are Lee Chess ratings.
Okay.
Okay. A little weird. Bishop d3, blocking the queen. Fine. Poor. Not developing. So, d6. Knight f3. This is the Austrian attack, but white is down a million tempi now. c5. Okay. Poor move. Not developing. Here I like c takes d4, collapsing the center.
Yeah, what about knight c? Yeah, knight c6 can't be a bad move.
Well, now you're allowing d5. I don't like fg because we're opening that diagonal, but you're still probably fine because white has forgotten to develop their pieces. Knight b4. Yeah. So that's the problem. White didn't like knight c6. That's why we could have just played cd first. But you're still doing fine because white forgot to develop. Fine. Now he is caught up a little bit in development now. I don't know, a5, buddy. No, don't like it. Because white can always play c4, and that's nothing's doing there. So you needed something else. I think a good move
queen
here.
b6.
Queen b6 is another Jamil cheap shot. b5 looks like a good move.
Yeah.
Okay, a5, bishop f4. Poor move because the rook is hitting this guy. It just is just loose.
b5 still works.
b5.
Good move.
e5.
For a number of reasons.
Knight h5. b4. So you can see that black was obsessed with this bishop a6 stuff. White should be obsessed with developing their pieces. c4. c4 is probably a good move. I guess there's the question of what he's going to do on pawn takes c3.
Knight takes.
And then bishop a6.
Yeah, bishop a6. And
it's still a little complicated. It's still complicated.
Wait, you might have a4 at the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Bishop a6, knight b5. I don't know, if you try to win the knight and queen b6, a4. I feel like e6 would be a very annoying move to deal with.
All right. He talks about bishop f5. Makes sense. Your move, by the way, I don't find it too hateful. I know your computer didn't like it, but you are winning a pawn, and you're kind of putting his queen in a weird spot. And you think white is better? Maybe. I mean, to me, it's pretty complicated. I think bishop f5 is the natural move here. Fine. Queen d6, and now we're blundering g4. They miss it. They still miss it. e6, double question mark. What do we want? We want knight f6. Or knight f4, as he says. Yeah. So now finally white sees it. And right, we should be lost here, but we're not going to resign. Chess Guy, thank you for rating, bud. Thank you for rating. This is the Dojo Training Program. We are going over games of people who have graduated. And here we have a game at about the 1100 level, 1800 Elite Chess. All right, so white plays queen e4. The simple move would be queen c4, just to make sure you're trading everything off.
What do you think of knight c4?
It's fine too. Queen c4, though, just simplifies your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now he did the same thing, but he just lost the pawn in the process.
Yeah.
All right, so now rook f5 happens. He's obsessed with that square. We could also maybe think about a4 here, trying to run the pawn. Okay, that's nice and tricky. Rook e5, good move. Yeah, that's not it. And now rook f7. Yeah, knight d3, bud. Give him some questions to talk. Talk to him. Talk to him with knight d3. We're just hanging our coconuts. Yeah. Okay, it's getting spicy. Dude plays bishop c5. Should still be okay. I don't understand bishop e3. Good move.
Weird move.
Good. Good. I don't know. Now he improved his business. Now he's trying to get fancy. Check the miserable king. V3. Oh, we don't care. We're going to claim we're not made of blunder. Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? He's trying to mate you. Yeah, but you're not going to mate us. Check to the miserable king. I saw it before it happened, Jamil. I promise. I saw it was like, he's going to play king f6. All right, we're going to return to something here after this rook f7 move. We're just going to show something. This is the time graph. White wasn't thinking at all. Did they get what they deserve? Oh, man, did they ever get what they deserve? First, let's just talk about, he finally found g4, probably on his opponent's time because he wasn't thinking at all. And then when it came to a position, you know, you're up a piece, you have to think a little bit to consolidate. He wasn't thinking at all. It's not at all. That's what they get.
What's your theory as to why that is?
Well, a couple things. One thing, first of all, that we've discovered, we did some stats analysis on this, is that the higher rated you are, the more likely you're going to have a problem with moving too slow. Let's say around 1800, 1900, we start seeing that as a problem. But before that, the problem that we definitely see is fast play. And it's due to a lot of things. One is thinking is hard. You know, your body doesn't actually want to do system 2 thinking. It demands more calories. It hurts a little bit. And it's a practice. It's something you have to get used to. So that's one of the main things going on there. But also, where we really see people losing their minds, like his opponent there, is then not just poor players or inexperienced players, but players online. So when you're online, I would say for me too, it's very hard to concentrate. And so it's easier just to blitz out, make those impulsive moves.
I think there's also an element of vanity involved because, you know, the chess that's most popular to watch by some margin, I imagine, is speed chess. So whether it be bullet to blitz or even rapid to a degree. Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, when people are watching Hikaru or Magnus or whomever, either stream or play in these tournaments, they're seeing them play at lightning fast speeds. And, you know, it's not so bizarre to think that people want to emulate that because it feels cool to a degree.
Okay, that's plausible. Here we have Ernesto, and Ernesto's got one game for us. And we got time graph. This is a 15 plus 10, and so let me just share the time graph. In
just
general...
You see that checkbox in the bottom left, overlay evaluation?
Yeah.
I haven't... What does that exactly show? I mean, I imagine it shows the eval, but...
No, that's if you're eval. So we might later do enable a computer eval, but if you write in there, like, white is slightly better, white is clearly better, then you can hit overlay evaluation, and it'll show you your evaluations.
Yeah, so it's manually inputted.
Okay, Ernesto, we got to play longer here. We're going to play longer games. And I realize you might be like, Cry, I don't play longer games. But trust me, for you to improve, you need to play longer games, Ernesto. I know. You probably just joined the program and you're like, what are you talking about, Cry? Muy importante. All right. Oh, by the way, let's just... actually, we'll go to Ludwig and then I'll show you something muy importante too here. Wait, Cry, go back. I'm going to do it this way. Bang. So, for example, let's just take Ludwig. And we go games and analysis, and we go play classical games. Here's the time controls. So 800 to 1200, we need 30 plus 30, 1200 up, 45 plus 30, right? So, and the reason is, we're talking about using our time, is we've discovered that players under 800 have a hard time. It's difficult for them to play really longer games. And so as you increase in skill, what we've realized at the dojo is then you can start playing longer games. 1510, even under 800, we don't want to see that. It's a little too fast. Right? Okay, good. Let's take a look at Ludwig here. He's in the U.S. evening. We're going to give him some... It just looks like he just joined pretty recently, so welcome to the dojo. He's done all kinds of games. And I'm going to go over here. And let's go look at this one. Fix the display, please. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. And here's our beautiful time graph rating. And so as you can see, the bunny means you're moving a little faster than the green line. This, of course, by both players is totally reasonable. This one they got going on here. All right. So let's go back to game review. And we're going to say these annotations are suspiciously light. Ludwig! Wait, Ludwig. I want to go back. We can't do it. We need more. Let's see if you got a different one where there's more annotations. No. Ludwig, bud, don't publish these games unless you've done some annotations, Pause. Yeah, Ludwig, we need some annotations, bro. Okay, so let's read. I'm gonna take a. Actually, Jamil, do you have any fun stories? Can you tell?
None whatsoever.
Tell them a fun story about you going to Japan and eating something nice. I'm just gonna grab a water. I'll be right back.
What's a fun story I can tell you guys? Oh, here's one. So I once went to Singapore, actually, not Japan. And I went to this Japanese restaurant. And they served me this fish. They told me it was some delicacy. And it was only after I finished the dish that they'd served that they informed me that they'd served me a poisonous pufferfish, which you need some special license in order to prepare, in order for the chef to prepare, that is. And what they also didn't inform me is that culturally, certain customers will request for trace amounts of the poison, of the neurotoxin, to be kept in the fish. And it's only the real master chefs that can do that for you. Now, I hadn't asked for this fish, and I certainly didn't ask for any poison to be kept in the dish. So I ate it, and I went back home, and it felt like my head was on fire, and my lips were numb, and I felt a little bit drowsy. And I didn't end up going to hospital. I trusted the guy knew what he was doing, but that's my story about how I once ate this poisonous pufferfish that actually had trace levels of neurotoxins in it.
Oh, that's cool, man. Now, do you think, because he told you, do you think you had a psychosomatic reaction?
No, because I've had it before.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't ask for it this time. But they did tell me that there was trace amounts left in there. Mm-hmm. And that was an interesting experience.
Cool. Well, that was a good story. All right, so Chronomatica is saying something very important I think people should be interested in, think about. And that is that, you imagine you're trying to improve and you can't play OTB for whatever reason. Then it's a really cool thing to get an e-board like Chronomatica's got. Then, you're not stuck at the screen. You're not going to get the dings and the whistles of the screen. You're just playing on your board. And then after you're done, then you can go talk with your opponent on the screen or whatever you want to do. But then you're just all in a way that is far better for your thinking than if you're stuck online. Okay, here's Chronomatica. Maybe you should get one of those, Jamil. What do you think?
Yeah, I think my wife got me one for my birthday last year. I just haven't opened it yet.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, Chronomatica just joined. He's crushing it. He looks like he's ready to graduate again. We got some clubs. There's the Chestnut e-board club, 73 members. That's great. Games. And we're going to go My Games. And look at this. He's already on it. I don't know which one to choose. Let's do the most recent one.
So are you not going to analyze this other guy's games because he hadn't annotated them?
Yeah, either if they're not annotated or if they're like a super fast time control, I'm not going to do it. Okay, here's the time graph. And we had a pretty good time usage until around move 17 from both players. And then they kind of lost it. So let's get into it. So, okay, fine, normal stuff, fine, okay. I think it's, I have one question about Queen D3. H3 is probably better. So
what do you intend? H3, bishop H5. Do you want to go G4?
I'll think about it. Yeah, I want the option. So the problem I felt with Queen D3 was on knight B. Actually, I think Queen D3 is fine. I'm going to say Queen D3 is fine.
Yeah,
It's
knight
fine.
B6, bishop.
I'll just move bishop B3.
B3, and then you can think of bishop B2, C2 as well.
So what we can see is that White was obsessed with worried about the D4 pawn and all this stuff, and now plays knight E5. And the main worry I have is that he is not developing his coconuts. That's the main worry I have. So we have knight E5 takes, and now knight D7. Now, just in principle, I would be concerned with here, with the claim that black is better developed. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I do know that black is better developed. Right? Okay, so knight D7, bishop F4, and he talks about queen G3. I like queen G3. Yeah, that's a nice move. Very nice move. And he was thinking, you could see he spent 6 minutes. Now, sometimes what we see, we were talking about time usage, sometimes people get exhausted and by thinking a while in positions like this.
Isn't queen G3 just winning?
It looks very strong. I don't know I don't know what to do against it. Okay, so now he sees queen G3. Boom, boom. Big time position. Queen C8, probably a good move. Queen G3, and now he plays queen F5. Queen E6 also looks good. And now this is we're going to call that superficial. By the way, when we have a move that we think is a mistake, it is very important for us to be like, hey, this is what I should have done. To my mind, the obvious move, for example, would be B3. Yeah. Good move. And now we're just down a coconut. Knight G6 seems easier, but you're doing fine, or he's doing fine. Now we're just down a pawn, and at this level, that's not game. So H4, okay, H5, Rook A-D1, King F7, Bishop C7. You say black is winning. More rush play, and from here I'm lost. The rest of the game sees me half-heartedly trying to defend, but I end up resigning in frustration at my opponent's accurate play. Now, let's talk a little bit. One of the things to say here is that at this level, it's not over. Yes, you blundered the pawn on H4, but but you still have plenty of chances here. So, well played by your opponent. Well played. Okay. He did play this part well. Knight e4, king e6. Now, it's definitely a bummer. It's definitely a bummer.
Wait. Hold on. Wouldn't you consider rook c7 there?
The bummer with rook c7 is f5, knight moves somewhere, king d6, and then we lost our coconut.
Yeah.
So he is playing well. I don't like that square. I think knight d2 is a better square. Good move. Yep. Oh. Okay. Well done by your opponent. And one of the things I would want you to just think about here is development. Okay? I think this position is about equal, and it's funny because you say castles, you say it's a little bit better for black, and then you say knight bd7, and that you're now equal. But the problem with this variation that you have is you've got queen b7. I guess you missed that. Okay, so actually what you're seeing here is that layer of queen b7 is something that the computer showed him after. So he did his evaluations, and then later the computer showed him this one. Okay. What I want him to see, though, just in general, is the problem of development. So not a developing move, right? And then bishop f4, yeah, it's like we're still not developing, and this is a very spicy situation all of a sudden. Notice that the knight has problems because it's dominated by the pawn. Okay, well done. Let's continue. Here we have Safuya. We have 3 more. And let's go get Bradshaw. We got loads more. What are you talking about? I got 5 more, buddy. I've been on a break from chess and I'm playing more casually. I'll possibly make some use of the program recommendations around breeding and maybe review some games. Okay. So, 1246. Did some work and then maybe came back. This is Dojo 1.0. I do remember the name. Got England. All right, let's see if they're part of that English club here. There we go, UK Dojo. All right, so.
ADH Dojo.
ADHD Dojo, yeah. All right, these games are all messed up. Now, it's not his fault, but the games created thing, it's got to be. Hold on, I'm making notes for Jack. Games in my games, not chronological. Okay. So, let's go. This is Sophie and John. As we go up the ladder, we're going to see more games played in an OTB. We're going to check the time. Uh-oh, it's a 15:10. We're not going to look at this game. Let's look at the next one. This is also a little bit. Now, this is a 30-30, but it's played in 24. Yeah. So Safuya, just in terms of, just be clear about what games I'm going to look at. If it's too fast, I don't want to do it. If it's forever ago, I don't want to do it. And if it's unannotated, I don't want to do it. But Safuya, you're crushing it, and I'd love to see more from you as we go forward. 1246. Looks like you took a break and then went up. All right. Next up, we have Jeff Fishman. Says, been grinding hard, so it feels good to finally make some rating games. If you review a game, my favorites are probably first The Boy Not Available or Poison Jam Ortho. Not chess related, but I'm a bit of a Kotkin fan as well, Jesse. Have you read Kotkin?
No.
Or do you know who that is?
Ring the bell.
He He's very well spoken. There's a lot of interviews you can find of him online. He's very good at analyzing geopolitics, but he's kind of most famous for this double volume of Stalin. And I got turned
So
on
is
to
he this sort of public intellect
yeah,
type of figure?
yeah, but also academic. Did a lot of work doing, let's call it Soviet history. This one's good, Jeff. Proust doesn't do his maiden twos, but I do. Yeah, buddy. There we go. We need Jamil to get back on his maiden twos.
Oh, my maiden twos are in some shipment container somewhere in the world right now. No idea where.
All right, Jeff, you have joined the dojo and you're truly crushing it. This is looking great. Your online rating has surpassed your OTB. So that probably means your OTB will catch up if you give it the chance. We got the Lifting Heavy Things Club. That's one of my favorite clubs. There are only 29 members, but those people, they're I will say, just statistically, we see those people in that club graduating the most. That's my guess right there. Now we got games. He had a particular thing. Boy, not available was one of them. And Ortho, man. Poison Jam Ortho. Let's do Poison Jam Ortho here. Boom. So, time graph, not available. 45 plus 30. When you do these games, you can export your times, and it will help us all. So, market is reviewed. I'd have 3. Boom, boom, boom. We are now at the level, by the way, where doing a little bit of opening work is not a dumb thing. Queen b6. This is a famous thing. Goes back to the day when Fischer used to play bishop c4 all the time. No one played, well, I don't want to say no one, but hardly anyone played queen b6 in Fischer's day. They didn't think it was cool. Because their queen will ultimately have to move back. The idea, though, is very positional, and that's to say, if I can kick this knight back to b3, it will be in the way of the retreat and just be less active than it is on d4. So I will end up losing a tempo with queen c7 later, but the knight will at least have moved. My guess is this is not bueno because of queen b2. Boom, checkerino. Thank you very much. King d8, boom. So, we could play b6 and bishop b7. He gets real frisky. Boom. Boom. And now, yeah, you just got to go win the knight, buddy. We don't want you to go and losing your mind. So, look, I think the computer might like queen c3, but a human move is really b6 followed by bishop b7. We got to win that knight before bad things happen to us.
I'm not insulted by queen c3.
Well,
Comes with check.
Comes with check. But now rook c1's coming. No, I'm just saying, like, b6, bishop b7 might be winning, and now you need a good move. That isn't it. I'm seeing that now. You're making me worried. Uh-oh. Okay, so queen b7, that just can't be it. A very basic move for black could be h3 followed by king g1, h2. Yeah. All right. Check to the miserable king. Good move. I think we got him. Check, boom. Check, boom. Thank you very much. And now it's all over. So, yeah, and now he's trapped the knight. Look at this. Everything's hanging. Here he should resign. Jamil never resigns, though, so can't say anything. Fine. They're really messing with him. I liked rook d2 better, but I'm not going to complain too much. Their rook b6 would mess with me a little bit. Lots of fancy things here. It's getting too frisky. Okay, he just resigned. Okay, so let's just think about this game for a second. And one of the things that I'll say is that now that we're at this level, the openings start becoming a little bit more important, right? So Jeff Fishman is up to 14-15. Doesn't mean that it's, the most important thing. But just to show an example here, it's we're putting a little pressure on White. And White doesn't know White doesn't know, and plays Bishop E3. And honestly, what should be said is, I think back in the day they were worried about Bishop E3, and now with the computer it's like, oh no, we just play Queen B2, and it's a bit of an issue precisely because of what happens where the bishop's hanging. Right? Okay, so well done. Bam. Next up we got Wazi. We got 3 more. Let's go fix the scene. Wazi has graduated before, and they didn't quite make it. But we'll call it close enough. And we got some clubs, Wazi. This is the Canada Dojo. I think Canada is hopefully just forgiven us at this point. They were so mad at us for a brief period of time, and it's like, dude, it's not our fault. It's not our fault, buddy. Maybe it is kind of our fault. I don't know. Oh, Foos Chess talking about Scherzer back in the day. Nice, dude. Okay. Fauger says not a chance. I assume he means that the Canadians aren't going to forgive us. I mean, I don't know. If they had some Canadian prime minister and he said something ridiculous, would I hold it against my friends in Canada? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anyways, they're pissed. Fauger says they're still pissed. What's that?
Let's move along swiftly.
All right, here we go. This is Wazi. No games, Wazi. Well, Wazi, we know what we want. You're doing some work. It's time to put some games in. And in general, you should wait till you officially cross that 1600 barrier. All right, next up, Nicholas. He says, despite my poor performance in Valdepeñas, I just dropped 30 ELO. So my ELO is right now 1790 or similar. Let's go give it a look. Here's Nicholas. Joined a while back, but just started logging his business now. He's got a FIDE above, so he's graduating. We got some clubs. DGT e-boards, great. I think there's 2 DGT clubs. We need to solidify those clubs. You can't have more than one DGT club. I guess there's a chestnut board or something. I don't know. All right, I have a feeling this is just a 1 game here. Let's give it a click. Do we got times? Oh my lord, do we ever. This game is played on a physical board, the Chestnut Air. The idea is to get better visualization skill on a real board. And we can see that both players just crashing out in terms of moving way too fast.
Jesse, I'll be right back.
All right. Here we go. All right, E6, good move. Good move. Good move. Bishop B3. And this is actually White's best try, because if you take, you unleash this bishop. Bishop E7. Okay. I think you got several reasonable moves there. I don't think Bishop E7 is wrong. And now he takes. Buddy, that was the whole point. You didn't want to unleash my bishop. So he unleashes my bishop. Good move. A6. A4. Maybe A3, but okay. Bishop E6. Now, I'm not sure about Bishop E6 because of some kind of knight G5. But all right, he doesn't happen. Frisky. Okay. That's not good. Thank you. And now Bishop F5. Knight h5 possible, yeah. d4 looks to me like you're probably just winning all their stuff. But bishop f5 isn't bad. Rook e3, d4. Blunder. Okay. Now, let me just say the obvious. Go back over here, buddy. Both players stinking it up. Stinking it up. That's where the game was ultimately decided. We can talk about tactics and schmactics and all kinds of other things. But if you don't think, you're not going to play good moves. Okay, let's go back to the grad show. And we got one more, my friends, and this is Ospon Gellert. The biggest game for me.
And I'm back.
Okay, cool. One more, Jamil, then we're done. He says the biggest game for me in the last few months was fully mental. This guy graduated 1819. This is Jamil's cohort. I stopped thinking in terms of I want to reach X rating and started thinking about just enjoying my games and the process. This reduced the pressure I felt during games and reduced random errant thoughts. Okay. Maybe we need to get you a game with this guy, Jamil. See if you can take him down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to give him a follow. He's been doing a lot of tactics. Definitely been busy. Definitely been busy. USCF of 1811, very nice. Very nice progress. Oh, so that's, I want to say, like, this is an inspirational graduation for sure. He's put in the work, and I would just say, you know, we celebrate all the graduations, but these later ones, as Jamil will tell you, are a little harder. Jamil's trying to graduate it out of this cohort, out of 1900, and it's been a minute.
I haven't really been playing as much also lately.
Well, we've got your tournament games. We got those. You played a couple.
Yeah, but the thing is, the tournament games, for whatever reason, I've mostly migrated to Lee Chess, and my Lee Chess rating isn't the one I'm using.
All right, let's look at Ospon. We want to go, here we go. All right, this is going to be a nice OTB here. Oliver Spon Gellert. So, here's our time graph. And this is a real game, as we can see, 130 plus 30. And looking good. Yeah, looks great. So, we'll go back to game review. All right, here we go. So far, so good. Fine. Fine. Good. Good. Yeah. Bishop f5. Beautiful. You're playing great chess here. I would say I would rather be black here. Knight e2, I don't think that's a good move. e6, h4, trying to do frisky things. And now knight d7 is funky. h6, definitely the better move. Now, I will say this position...
What did you think of knight d7 instead of e6?
I liked his e6. e5 isn't going to solve any big problems for us, even if we achieve it. His move, knight e2, was poor because the knight is better on f3. Now, about this position, I will say, I've had this with reversed colors a little bit. And it's very dynamic and interesting. In general, the little bit of space advantage that black has should give us an advantage. And we just need to be a little patient. h6 for sure. Give the bishop an out. And, you know, White's done himself a disservice with his knight on e2 because it doesn't know where it's going. All right, here we go. Knight d7. Now knight g3 is a pain, isn't it? All right, now he can smack us, which he does. And you thought that white is clearly better here. I don't know. I don't know. You think white's better?
No, it's not. That's not obvious to me.
It's the kind of thing that maybe the computer would say white's better. I think f3 might be a good move. So just in general, later, if we achieve e4, we can really open the board up for the bishops. Knight f6, king f2. Yeah, the knight on f6 is dominated. Okay. I don't know. Spone says, I had my longest think of the game here. I felt like this was a position where I was close to losing and had to find the only move. Why is it so bad? Yeah, why is our position so horrendous?
I don't think so. Just take, and you get rid of the double pawn. You've opened up the e4 square for your knight. Should you ever want to go there?
Well, I do want to say it is better for white. I don't know if you're losing. I just want to say it's better for white.
Yeah, okay. Well, f takes g4.
All right, he gives this one.
Okay, let's consider rook h to e1.
E8.
Yeah, through e8.
And let's see what moves he gives. He gives bishop f3 and g5. Yeah, good. Those are the moves to look at. G5 is a very natural move. I agree with you. Now here, that's more appropriate, I feel. The clear advantage to white. Before you're talking about lost, and here you're saying clear advantage to white. That feels correct to me, to call it that way. We have to fix our knight, but it's not going to be super easy for white to knock us around. This is a fancy move. I don't know. No, I don't like it. Later, he can come at our pawn with like bishop d1, c2 stuff. Yeah, I agree with you. Not a good move. And now you play knight h5. Okay. Rook he8. Oh, he's really fancy. Why aren't we just playing like knight g7 like a normal person? Just play knight g7. We don't gotta be fancy. Rook he8. I don't know what that does. Good. h5. Oh my God, he went for it. So white, I feel, lost his mind over here. Now, hg5. Okay, there's an obvious question I have, and that is, how do we feel about h6? I don't know. I like white. Shouldn't we like white here, Jamil? He's going to take on g5, and then we're doing okay.
Knight h5.
I don't understand knight h5 though.
Yeah, you're right.
Feels like white missed this opportunity. So
knight e6.
Let me say something, a couple obvious things. In this position, rook e8 looks like a loss of tempo. So like the basic thing to do is snip once and play knight g7. Now maybe he's worried about rook h6, but you know, I can move my knight away, and then even if he got the h, I guess white could claim like, oh, maybe he's got something with the h file, maybe. But that pawn on h6 too, it's gonna be loosey-goosey. There's no help coming for that pawn. We might be able to just win that pawn. Yeah, because we'll play rook h8, knight e7, knight g8, and I think it might be gone. It's gonna get real. That's some calculation to be done there. In any case, I'm just trying to understand I don't understand rook e8. I think h5. I think h6 is strong. You can talk about gh and a knight h5 too. That's no good. I think that's okay. Good. 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 Now, we definitely wanted to analyze rook h5, and it looks like he does it. That is very spicy. King f2. All right. This, by the way, time graph. This, by the way, is where both players, I mean, yeah, we need to analyze more. King f2 looks dangerous because of knight g8, f6. So good move. Good. Good. Rook e6. Now, maybe rook e6, but a very basic move here would just be to play f6. All right, rook e6. Good, he does it. And he says, I'm not sure. Oh, he accepted a draw. No, no draw, buddy. No draw. Now, I think he was low on time, and his opponent had a little bit more time. But he had a 30-second increment. And let's go back a little bit and say, if I'm going to say no draw, of course black should play on, but what do I think he should have done? Now, part of the problem is that it's very difficult to move the knight now from g4. It's kind of stuck. So I was just intuitively saying f6, but maybe that was poor. Well, here you took the draw, so actually we should talk about it from this position. And I think the good news actually is we could play knight f6, knight e4, and then f6. And that's a better version for us. Yeah. That looks pretty strong, actually. Okay, so Mr. Spoengeller, nice game, nice annotations. We'd love to see more. Congratulations on making it to this graduation. When we go back and look at your work, it's looking good, man. I'm going to go grad show here. Looking good about the work you've done, mostly tactics. That was a good game, and I think the annotating endgames like that is something that your fellow cohort member, Jamil here, needs to do more of that. He's been stinking it up, kind of like you. Played some bad moves in the endgame. But it takes some practice. It takes some experience before you get a handle on how those things work. So, I thought that was pretty good. I think we'll end the show there. Actually, let's do one quick thing before we end the show. Let's go look at my sensei. He's playing this tournament that I should be playing at. And I'm not playing. It's really sad. Here, let's just go look. So, this is this. We're going to click this. Boom. We're going to hit the seniors. And we're just going to check in on the sensei here. So, he's playing this guy with black. Let's just go through this game here. Oh my God, look at this.
Your sensei is which one?
Black.
Alexander something.
Golden, yeah. My Lord. E6. Check the miserable. Knight f6. Wow. Well, that's a mess. But I guess he's just fine. No problemos. Now, it's easy for me to say that because I'm looking at the computer evaluation. But,
Maxime Deluc, why does that name ring a bell?
well, there's many reasons
that
it could...
Magnus tried to call out.
Oh, yeah, good memory, dude. Good memory.
Yeah,
the issue was... Oh, God, let me see if I can get this right.
Magnus insinuated that he was assisting Neiman.
Well, right, he was assisting Neiman. I mean, they were like they did some work together, and then Maxime got banned from chess.com because in his telling of it, he had like a crew of like chess students, and they were shouting out the moves to him, and he didn't know that they were shouting out the computer moves. Sounds sus. But that was his story. Anyways, he got banned from for cheating, and then he was associated with Neiman in the time in which Neiman was banned for cheating. And I forget, there was something else, the connection they had. But that, maybe when the Netflix documentary comes out, then he'll be in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, you guys, that was great. I'm out of here. I'm going to raid somebody now. Let's raid. Let's raid somebody I don't know too well. Let's raid Dr. Ganto. I have no idea who this person is, but we're going to raid Dr. Ganto. You've been watching the ChessDojo Training Program. You need to try it out. We got the tournaments. We got the games. We got the program itself. Yep. We got Jamil. All right, bye, everybody. I'm going to raid Dr. Ganto. Bam.